Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle DollPin from Jutta Gladnigg. I hope I pronounced that right. All right. I have seen this one for a while and decided, let's just take it on. And on one level, it doesn't look necessarily too hard, but then kind of putting it together the way they have it in the sample, it's like, okay, one of those. Oh, okay. I don't know if I've quite got it, but I'm going to share it anyway because there's no mistakes in Zentangle. And you know what? And I do enjoy tackling these things together. So, you know what? Actually, I just had another thought as I'm doing it. Because it's kind of a fragment. The way Jutta puts it out there. I'm going to do it on a different tile. So we start off with, although it doesn't really matter, does it? No, it doesn't. So silly I am. So here's how it goes. So we'll do one individual. And so it starts off with an orb at the top of wherever you want it. And then a ginormous C-shaped curve line, very narrow, or I should maybe elongate it is a better way to put it. I'm going to try to curve mine in because I noticed after I was doing it, which is what I was about to say, that I kind of have mine going, at least on my version of the step out, they're kind of, it's not curving in, and I don't know if it matters, so I'm going to try to do that. We'll see how many times I can do that. All right, so like I said, big C-shaped curve line like this. Then, this would be kind of another C-shaped curve line, sort of. If you've done the tangle between, this made me think of that, although it's not, it's kind of, that I would start it from the bottom and come up, which you could do. But so pick a place up, towards the top. And it's like I said, it's a C shape, but we're going to take it all the way down as far as you can till it comes to a point. And now maybe, like a lot of mine, it came, and merged into that original line a little early, but like I said, no mistakes in Zentangle. All right. Then the next one, we're going to come from this side here. This is why it made me think of between a bit. And let's see. Let's come from right there. This one, I was putting a little bit of a curve in it. Now I'm going to try doing not so much of a curve in it. Like that. And that's it. And then if I was going to do some shading, which we'll just do this for this one, I would, because I really like it in her sample. And so thinking of the fact that this appears to be tucked under here. And I'm thinking, and of course, did I read? No, not completely. Thinking about, oh yeah, well, that's exactly the inspiration. A clothespin, right? And I'm like, where's my Tortillion? And then I'm thinking, oh, how many people might not know what a clothespin is? But look at the For More Inspiration link, and you will see one, because what we do, it's usually made out of wood. I wish I had one here. I don't. And then you would, it has a divider, so that way you could put your clothes on the clothesline, right? And I think the one that looks like she's got in the picture, because you can, take and draw on them and make dolls out of them. Or little characters, is one that's not a clothespin that has a hinge in it, the old-fashioned straight ones. All right, so I'm going to do that, and then let's add some roundness up here, and of course a little something for up here, like that. Now this is essentially the fragment. It's the piece of. Not necessarily fragment in the way that we have been using it in Zentangle, but at the same time, kind of. So what I'm going to do is, I couldn't get, well, let's see how many orbs I get around in a circle. So this is what they did. No, let's see. Nope, we're just gonna put a big one. I have 5. I think in her sample there's 6. In the end, you know that it does not matter. So, all right, now let's try to do this on each one. So I'm just focusing in on this. Let's see if we can come up. I'm gonna probably end up straight. I did find that it was nicer to always move your tile so that way, whatever way you find it best to draw this, always, put that orb in the position you need to draw it. This will help with the consistency of it. And you see how mine are this is the way my hand wants to do them. So I'm going to try again. Part of it is called going slow. There, I got some of them doing one thing, some of them doing another, but as you know, it doesn't matter. Okay, so we get that done, and then we'll do the other steps. And what's interesting is even looking back, because this is one for me where I had to just not look at it for a bit, and going back and looking at my step out, I'm like, well, what was my problem with that? Who did that anyway? Because it's just okay, it still turned out neat, even though I'm, if I'm comparing it with Jute's step out and work, I'm like, no, I haven't quite replicated it, but that's okay. All right, so we've gone around once that way, and then here again, just doing that other. Okay, 2 more. And honestly, you could stop there and do something else if you want. But we'll go on because she kind of does we'll call it a double. And when I'm looking, and you can look at the, like I said, at her step out just as well. And that's why I always include it, so that way you can go look. Here's how I interpreted the last step, of the play, as I was interpreting it as putting an orb here on all of these. But as I was re-looking at it, I'm like, or did she just fill it in? I don't know. I'm going to stick with what I was thinking, because you can always go and fill it in afterwards. But this way you're still doing all of these steps, right? And let's start where it looks good, where I have a nice big space. Some of these places, not so much. And so looking at the step out, and she did do that last step in red so you could see, okay, here's how this is constructed. And then looking at the sample, and it's almost like this top part is hollowed. So I'm thinking maybe I should have been starting down here, coming up. Now this one I can do a nice full one, right? And I think I'm going to do all of the steps just so that way they're done. All right. I'm saving this one for last. And sometimes I have to work these things out by talking to you all and doing this on a video. Because I'm thinking, if you do this, that's how you can hollowbow it. Because I was not grasping, okay, how am I going to hollowbow that? Because what I was doing, what was I doing? Wait a minute. No, I was doing that. I don't know. I wasn't doing it in 2 pieces. I don't know. Sometimes it just takes playing with it multiple times. And then we get it. Like that. All right. And so this one will have a lot of hollowbowing going on in this one. And I suppose too, yeah, you could change the lengths. Mine are not necessarily different. But, this is where you just get to have as much fun as you want to have with it. Or as much fun as your hand will allow you to have with it. All right. that is working quite well. Just thinking that I'm, coming from here, hollow bowing under. There's just something weird. I'm not sure. Maybe after letting it sit and stew in my head for a little bit, it cleared up. Okay, last one. There we go. And then I'm at least gonna fill in these secondary orbs. And then can decide if you just want to fill the whole thing in or not. Because like I said, you can see on the step out, it's kind of all filled in, all of the gaps. And maybe this was just a place marker. I don't know. I'm not sure. I will let you be the judge. You see how you interpret it. Let me know in the comments if you wish. All right, and then I'm going to shade it similar here. At least we'll just start with this part where it tucks under. And just bring it out a little bit. Like I said, I've seen this one for a while. And I kept looking at it, and then, every once in a while I just decided, let's get bold here. Let's just, take the bull by the horns and let's just go for it. I do have one tangle on my nemesis list that I really need to play with, and well, it's one of those. I bet you it's probably not hard for anybody else. But no, it'll definitely be a tough Tangle Tuesday. But it's one of those. Okay, I have to work up the courage or something to get that taken off of my own list. And just by the way, if you have something on your nemesis list and you want to share it in the comments, because I know a long time ago somebody had put in, hey, have you ever done this tangle, or could you? It was a request, and it took me a little bit because it was a hard tangle. It was Striping with a Twist by, I think it was by CZT Margaret Bremner. And yeah, that was a challenge for sure. And I just looking up at the screen, it's like, well, that turned out neat. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use the colorless blender. And because I don't want to necessarily add any more graphite, but I want, that's okay. I just was thinking about something else, completely, somewhat unrelated, I should say. But it's all right. But I just want to get a little bit darker under here. And you can see how it's doing that? It's like magic. I think it just mashes the graphite into the paper or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter, but look at how neat that is. And then, so the neat thing about it, if you've not seen this before, I mean, this is from Prismacolor, normally for colored pencils, for blending and burnishing and stuff like that. But it works for the graphite, and if you have a nice tip on it, because it does wear down, obviously. And I don't know, some kind of plasticky type substance. But you can really get into a little place like this where you just want it darker, but you don't want to throw any more graphite at it. That is neat. Yeah. All right, let me look here. And I think, okay, I'm gonna fill in the rest of that stuff, because that's what it looks like looking at the big sample. So I am going to just do that. Like I said, it could be that I completely just misinterpreted what I was seeing. I don't know. I mean, that's entirely possible. Highly possible and entirely likely. Because he also has this bit in the middle filled in. And it's nice to have some contrast like this. Done half, yes. I like it. All right. And like I said, it is a neat tangle. I'm glad I did it. There are some that, it's just nice to, and even if you don't like it and you think, I'm never going to do that one again. Sometimes it's just nice to think, okay, well, at least I know how to do it if I ever want to do it again. But I do it. I think this one is kind of neat. It's very, very interesting. I'm going to add some graphite just with what's left on the Tortillion. Ooh, just a little bit. We'll just get like maybe half. Well, maybe I've used what's left. I have used what's left on it. All right. I'm just going to kind of do a little half because they're so small. There we go. From this to this. And whatever other fun that you might want to have with it. That is up to you. Really neat. All right, well, I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please click on the like button. And if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. Oh, and by the way, yeah, make sure you scroll down. You know what? I have this habit of not doing that. There are some other brilliant uses for this. Really, really neat. So I will let you take a peek at that. I mentioned the description section, and in there you will find, again, links to the step outs. Below those is my Linktree link. There you can find all of my social media links. So if you enjoy what I'm putting out and you'd like to follow me on the social media, that would be lovely. If you're interested in classes or coming and tangling with me and my fellow Tangle addicts online, we do that every Thursday. It's called Tangle Time. It's free, and it would just take an hour. I do it actually twice on Thursday, 11 a.m. and then also 7 p.m. Eastern Time. The two places to follow me for the classes, Eventbrite and Facebook. I share those because that way you can look at it in your time zone and you don't have to worry about converting it. Unless they goof it up. Which I think it was Eventbrite. This is a long time ago and it might have been around like daylight savings time or something like that. And, things just get goofed up and it's okay. But that just makes it a little bit easier. So do that. Also, we have a Tangle Addicts community on Facebook. It's a private group. And when you click that link, if you want to join us, there are 4 questions you have to answer in order to gain entry. Let's see. I also teach on Tuesdays, just by the way, I didn't mention it. Those generally have a fee. There is one called, I mentioned Tough Tangle Tuesday. That's the other free session that I have. It's once a month on usually the 3rd Tuesday. And it's a lot of fun. And we might, this might be Tough Tangle Tuesday worthy. Sometimes it's one of these where it's hard to figure out, or it could take a little bit more focus. There's a range in my mind for what qualifies as a Tough Tangle Tuesday worthy. So come join us. We have a lot of fun, and all the information is there on the Linktree. And so with that, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you happy tangling.